Good morning, guys. Sorry I'm late here. Had to drop off the rental car, and of course it has to be dropped off on Monday morning before noon, and so I had to do that before the stream, and big pain in the rear. So sorry about that. Glad to be back though. Really glad to be back. Let me go to my dashboard here. Catch up on some of these comments. Hey Jade, Masking Tape, Critical Sid. Good to be back, guys. Thank you, Martin. Good to see you, Doss. I can't scroll up in Twitch to see the previous comments, irritatingly. Why is that? Pac-Man, Teddy, Shades. Good to see all you guys. I'm glad we didn't disappear into nothingness since I took the week off. All right. Oh, the trip was amazing. I'm glad you liked it, Martin. We got more of those videos coming up, including there's going to be another video from the trip that goes up. Actually, I think while this stream is running at 10 o'clock. So after the stream, you'll have another one to watch. Yeah, the trip was amazing. It was awesome. Way more connections than I ever expected. I mean, we ultimately we're going to be working with the Game Chasers. We got an advertising deal going with the Game Chasers, and we also actually gifted the Bar Top Arcade to Billy, so that's really awesome as well. I was going to surprise people with that, but I think the word got out there anyways. So that's really, really awesome. I'm ordering another one from Monster Arcades right now, but that whole thing is going to be a huge win for us because we're going to be advertising to the entire Game Chasers watching community. You know, everybody, that whole collection of people, and then also there's another big YouTuber that I'm going to surprise you guys with this later on. But there's another big YouTuber who is very interested as well, and we're going to be getting in with them, with him as well here soon. So, and he's big. He's very big. So that's exciting. So really great things are happening from the trip, and we met so many awesome people. We felt really bad for the tables. Honestly, this sounds like we're bragging, but we felt really bad for the tables around us because we basically stole the show with the cabinet. If you can imagine, I mean, what table are people going to go up to? A table with a cabinet or a table with other stuff? You know what I mean? And so the cabinet definitely was excellent for the convention. So a couple things are obvious. One is that we need to go to more conventions, which is awesome. That's exciting. And another thing is that those cabinets, there's tons and tons of interest in those cabinets. So we may actually I'm going to be working with Monster Arcades to actually provide those for sale as is. That is the thing I'm thinking. So good stuff. Very good stuff. Anyways, dang. Yeah, absolutely. Hey, Deltoid. So Monster Arcades built us a bar top arcade, and it was designed by the graphics were designed by a member of the community named Rincewind, and he's awesome. And so it's a beautiful cabinet. It's got LED blinky light up buttons and all that stuff. Um, it turned out really really well, and the combination with Big Box on the cabinet and the cabinet art and the physical cabinet, it really it's quite a sight to behold. It's really awesome. So I'm looking forward to, hopefully I'm gonna have a conversation with Keith later today at Monster Arcades, and I'm hoping that we can make some kind of a partnership. We already sort of have a partnership planned. But what I'm hoping to do is be able to put up a page on our website to make it easy for people to purchase the cabinets, and probably just redirect over to Monster Arcades. So that's the plan. Teddy, I hear you, man. I hear you. Yeah, that would be cool. I'd love to travel to Europe and stuff. I've actually been to Germany. When I was a kid, I was only like 12, but I was there for just a couple weeks. May have only been a week. I can't remember exactly how long, but I had a good time in Germany. I enjoyed Germany. I spent a long time in England and traveled to Scotland, um, Scotland and Germany, and I think those were the three I visited. And Germany was actually my favorite of the three, believe it or not. Yeah, I really enjoyed Germany. Over 1,000 unused Steam keys. How did you how did you get a hold of 1,000 unused Steam keys? It was, like I said, I was like 12, so that would be, let's see, that would be like 1996, something like that. So a long time ago. Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure it has. Uh, and Jade, to be honest, I don't like Steam because of the DRM. So, unfortunately, Steam has never been my thing, or hasn't been my thing for a long time. Yeah, it is a beautiful place, and I like the pizza a lot. Oh, I see. Man, that's crazy, Jade. Holy cow, that is a lot. That's a lot of games. So what I'm thinking of working on this morning. Actually, let's pray here real quick because I could use the focus. Lord, thank you for keeping us safe on the trip and getting us back, and thank you for having the community still be here after I got back, and thanks for helping us get the car dropped off and all that stuff. Pray that you would help me to relax, settle down, and get back into the swing of things here without too much stress and without any drama. I pray that you would help us as we go forward with all the changes we want to make. I pray that you would guide us with everything new that we do. Pray that you would help to show us what is worth it, what isn't, what should be changed, what shouldn't. Just direct us, and help us in this stream as well as we get back into development, and help us be productive, and bless the conversation. Help us just to be a good stream back after the trip. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. All right. Typical German food. Yep. All right, so let us go. So what I'm thinking about working on, I've actually gotten quite a few complaints. Let me load up LaunchBox here. I've actually gotten quite a few complaints because of the pop-in in LaunchBox itself. I'll go over here so you can see it. You guys know what I'm talking about. There's a little bit of pop-in now with the games in LaunchBox in the latest versions, and I know exactly why that is. So these haven't been cached, so that's why that's going in like that. But something that's already been cached, for example, apparently a lot of these haven't been cached. Anyways, so what we can do is we can just restart after this stuff caches. But basically, I restructured a lot of this stuff in order to improve performance. But what I need to do is sort of add some functionality back in to automatically do this kind of stuff in the background. And we have been getting a lot of feedback about people not happy about it popping in. So I think I'm going to go ahead and focus on that here this morning. Hopefully that's not too difficult. We'll see. So that was nice and quick, but there is some pop-in when you scroll to the games the first time. That's what I'm talking about. So that's kind of what we need to try and solve, and the best way to solve that would be to and you notice after it loads it up the first time, it's nice and quick because it's using the RAM cache. But what we need to do is in the background, we need to load the images up as best we can. So, and that's going to be a little tricky, but we can figure something out here. Goes out of this stuff. I don't need any of this. What I need is LaunchBox. Where is it? It's under caching, image cache. No, the pop-in doesn't happen in Big Box. This is the LaunchBox. Honestly, is a lot more. I don't want to say difficult. Yeah, it is. It's more difficult just because of the presentation. It's pretty rare in. It doesn't happen in Big Box where there's that many images on the screen, and so there's a lot more processing that's going on in the background with the images and caching and stuff like that. The desktop interface is actually a little more challenging when it comes to getting all the images up on the screen quickly and cached right and all that stuff. So that's a big part of the thing. Big Box is a lot easier, and part of it is Windows Forms versus WPF. But anyways, so basically we have a method here. This update images method runs in a separate thread in the background. Well, if you load up Big Box, Jade, compare it to LaunchBox, there's rarely this many games on the screen in Big Box. That doesn't happen. And we use some WPF internal caching methods to handle it in Big Box that aren't really available in Windows Forms, although we could hack it in, but that's not going to be a good solution. But actually, this is more challenging. This type of view is a little bit more challenging than what we got going in Big Box. If you look, there's not really that many images on the screen at a time in Big Box. So the keyboard and mouse interface like this is a little bit more difficult performance-wise, because I mean, look how fast you can scroll through these games. That's the trick. You don't get that kind of performance with the methods we're using in Big Box. So it's a completely separate caching algorithm, caching method that we use in LaunchBox versus BigBox. Hopefully that clears it up a little bit. All right. So we have the load stack and the update stack. And the load stack basically loads the images from the disk. The update stack actually generates the cache images on the disk. Slow and tedious. I'm not quite sure exactly what you're referring to, Jade, but yeah, it's definitely we also do more image processing and stuff in LaunchBox for the box edges and all that stuff. So yeah, it is slower and more tedious than anything we're doing in Big Box. Okay, this basically just makes sure that we're not exiting. This guy here checks, so if the load stack isn't empty, then we load. Otherwise, if the update stack is empty, sure. So this is where we would put stuff, put the new stuff. This is what we do if the update stack isn't empty. I see. So this stuff is mostly moot. It's left over from old code. But it does sleep it for half a second, so it's not wasting CPU cycles if everything is empty, basically. So what we need to do is figure out everything that's actually on the screen and trigger an update for it if it's not in the cache, I think. The update stack. So we're going to call update stack.push. No, we don't want update stack.push. We want load stack.push, basically. And we need to figure out if we need to push anything that's not in the image cache. It's a dictionary of string image cache item. Get key, image group, game, text. So I'm going to need a Boolean. Internal bool contains string image group game game string text return this dot get key. No, we need this dot contains key, this dot get key, image group, game text. All right. You go to image cache item. We have an image. Yeah, okay. So we can tell if excuse me. We're going to need to check then. So basically I need a way, the next thing I need to get is a list of all the images or all the games that are in the currently selected list. And we would do that. It's going to be under main form, of course. Actually, it might be under games control. Is there a way to get out all the games? Games control. Game GUIs. We don't want selected games. So I guess var games equals program dot main form dot games control dot game GUIs. The only concern I have is like performance. So we're doing a lot of heavy stuff here, so I'm not sure. We're gonna have to be careful with performance, but we'll see how this goes. Huh. Try specifying the type arguments explicitly. Not sure how select many works actually. Does select work just like that? Probably. Yeah, that should do it. I'm still not a link expert. And then once we have our list of games that are currently visible or are currently in the active list, we need to filter out any games that that are already in the cache. Doing that quickly, man, that's the issue. For each var game in games, if image cache dot image cache list dot contains. We need to get the image group, and the image group is actually fed in we get it up here from the load stack. Yeah, that's going to be tricky. And the text, the game text is easy, but when we push into the load stack, load image from cache. Hey DJ War. Pure Luck. Welcome, guys. So that's one area we're calling loadstack.push. Where else am I doing it? I guess load image from cache is the only place I'm doing that, huh? So what's calling load image from cache? Get image. So this is, yeah. And we feed the image group over. So we're going to need to pull the image group basically from the main form, I think, for the currently selected list of games. We might actually have that. Image group and text, sure. Call paint image group. Where do we set the image group? That's the thing. We're going to get rid of that. That's another thing. We shouldn't be doing this unless the oh, we do have a public property. Okay. We shouldn't be doing any of this unless the app is focused, so that while the app isn't focused, we don't use any CPU cycles. Somebody just texted me. Cool. So basically, what we should do is program.mainform.gamesControl.imageGroup. And then the game and the text for the image is nothing, so we're going to do null. What's the issue here? Has no getter. Interesting. All right. So if it doesn't contain that, then we're going to basically push it. We're going to say image cache dot load stack dot push. The game, the size. Oh man, the size. Darn it. The text, the image group, and bool rearrange. So I got to come back to that and figure out what I'm going to do for that. Find more of those load stack push. That's fed in there. It's fed into get image. So it's back to these. This dot size on the game GUI. You know what? We do have the game GUIs. So I guess we need the actual game GUIs. Game.game. So what we can do is game.game, game.size. The text is going to be string or null. The image group is going to be this again. And then bool rearrange. I can't remember what that's for. Let's figure that out here. Oh, it basically specifies whether I should put it up at the top. I'm going to say false for this. Because it was empty at that point, basically. Okay. And then we need to do the same thing for the text, basically. Is the genre in edit done by you or us, the users? You mean the game metadata? As far as what comes from the LaunchBox games database? That would, assuming I've got that right, that would be, yeah, that's manageable on the LaunchBox games database. Hey EA, Vessi, welcome. We are trying to fix the image pop-in that was introduced in the latest version of LaunchBox, or latest version 6.10 and 6.11. So yeah, you can change the genres on the LaunchBox games database. Retropalooza was great. We talked through that a little bit earlier, so I don't want to get too much into that. But really, really good reception. Made a lot of good relationships with YouTubers, and it turned out to be a much more productive thing than I ever expected. So it was excellent, actually, really, really awesome. So we're gonna have to be doing some more conventions going forward for sure. All right. Now this, we need to feed over text. Oops. For the text generation. And the text, we need to actually look at I should have left that open. It's in Game GUI. Here we are. For the text, it's just this.text on the Game GUI. That's good. Okay. So with a capital T, text, game.game, and game, oops, dot text. That's probably not, it's probably private. Let's make that internal. Okay, and then we're gonna push the game, the size, or actually, what do we do there? Here we go again. I can't believe I keep closing this out. For the text, we still say this dot size. All right. Game.game, game.size, and then we need game.text. And then the image group is going to be text. All right. So what this is going to do right now is it's going to push anything in the list that isn't already cached. Once everything is empty, it's going to push everything in the list that isn't already cached, ultimately. But we probably should slow this down because this iteration is going to take too long. So we need to do something about that. Yeah. Teddy. It's funny. All right. So as far as slowing this down, well, there's a couple things I need to work on here. First off, if program dot main form dot games control is not equal to null, dot game GUIs is not equal to null, and I think that's all I need to worry about. That could possibly be null. I think. Okay, and then we basically need to do an image update count. Int push count equals 0. And in each of these cases, I'm going to say push count plus plus, push count plus plus. And then what we can do is this auto refresh enabled thing. I don't think we really need that. We're not really doing anything with it. Basically, what we'll do if push count is greater than 0, then at this point I'm going to continue, and that is going to continue this while up here. and it'll go through and immediately loop through everything again. Otherwise, we're going to do a thread.sleep for half a second before we loop. So basically, if it didn't find anything, it's not going to do anything again for another half a second. Hey, Squirrel. Yeah, welcome. Good to see you. Stockholm, awesome. What kind of work trip, Pure Luck? Hey, Jaggerroll, Bitbox is using DirectX, not OpenGL. It is using, well, it uses WPF, which in turn uses Direct3D and DirectX. And there are some pieces of DirectX we use directly, like audio and all that stuff as well. All right, so now the question is, should I put a limit on how much it pushes? I'm thinking I should. If push count is, so basically at this point, let's just say if push count is greater than 10, we break the for each so that we don't push too many at a time. The other thing is we should only do this stuff if we're focused. Program. How do I get that? I've got a utility for it. Is it under utilities? Application is activated. Here we go. Something like that. We'll see what happens. What's the problem you're running into, Jaggerroll? Come on, buddy, build. There we go. Okay, I've got an exception here. I've got a no reference exception in the image cache update stack. I guess maybe I can just debug it and see what happens. Oops. I'm set to big box, darn it. Whoops. LaunchBox. We got some yelling going on outside the window. Oh, I changed the build target here. Give me a second. LaunchBox. Build. Or debug, that's what I need. Gotta change this to... I was working on my laptop on the trip, that's why. We are under here. Save. Rebuild. In Bitbucket, after a few minutes or hour or two, it starts taking exactly 40 seconds to launch the emulators. I remember seeing that on the forums a while back. From you, Jaggerroll. That's so weird. Like MAME RetroArch, it sticks. Even if I leave Bitbucket, the program still takes 40 seconds to launch. Same with Steam, but not every program. I would guess those who make certain graphics API calls. I'm so clueless with that. Pulled out all USB devices besides keyboard and mouse. Reinstalled Windows 10. Installed only the hardware drivers, but it's still the same. Goodness. I'm lost. What is your hardware, by the way? What do you got in there? I guess it could be motherboard specific, or it could be, but that's just weird. That doesn't make any sense. I wonder what would happen if you tried to use a different OS like Windows 7. Doesn't sound like an overheating issue, but it could be, I suppose. Game GUIs is null, so then we don't do anything. Okay, it's not null at this point, but it wasn't activated. Okay, well, this is going to be a problem because, so I'm going to have to fudge it because it's not going to show as activated. Image cache list. Okay. Interesting. I think I know, maybe. So it's this. Get key, image group, game, text. Is it because text is null? No. What the heck? I wonder if game is ever null or something. Odd. So we'll put the breakpoint there and try again. Actually, game.game through an exception of type no reference exception. Game is null. Okay. Why does that happen? That's so weird. Alright, well, that's easy to fix. I've seen that before. If game equals null, continue. Gigabyte Sniper M3, GTX 980, standard hardware. If I change the theme a few times in Bitbucket, it will take 40 seconds to get out of the options menu, and then the effect will be triggered. Okay, that would be good, Jaggerroll. If you're able to reproduce it on another computer with different hardware, then obviously we got a bug. That would be the next thing to try. It's weird. It almost feels like it's whenever I've seen something like that, it's had to do with disk access, but at the same time, 40 seconds is way too long. So I don't know. I really don't know. It's kind of it's pretty strange, that's for sure. But yeah, if you were able to test it on different hardware, that would be the next step. All right, so we're gonna rebuild this, and we'll give it a run and see what we get here. All right. Pulling up my task manager so I can take a look at what the CPU usage is. LaunchBox isn't active right now, and so the CPU usage is 0. That's good. If I activate it, it's going up a little, but not much. But in theory, I should be able to scroll down without any pop-in. And look at that, I can. Yeah, you see that? We didn't have any pop-in at all on scrolling. So it's doing its job fairly well from what I can tell. That's awesome. That was nice, and that was actually surprisingly successful. So if we go to Nintendo's, okay, so we have, okay, modified collections. So a threading error. So the issue there is we're using an enumeration. The issue is in this for each, and it's modified. Huh. Yeah, it's in game GUIs. We kind of need to, I bet we can solve that if we copy it. So well, if I say to array, that should in essence copy it, I think. Copies the elements of the list. All right. So basically that's going to remove it from any changes. So at that point, if it gets changed, it's not going to have an issue. If I remember from the thread, I think we had already, Jaggerol had already looked into the hard drive issues. But yeah, that was one of the very first things I thought about too, is it sounds like your hard drive's dying. But if I remember correctly, it wasn't. But I don't know. I'm sure Jaggerol will respond. All right. Let's try this again. All right. We scroll down, and it's nice and smooth. Nintendo 64. No pop-in, except at the end where it's caching still. So not everything has been cached for N64. Atari 2600. Wow, that's going nice and quick. Awesome. That's great. Well, from what I've been seeing, I'm pretty happy with this. I expected to have to tweak this and stuff, but this is working well. I want to try reducing the image cache size here, but the pop-in's gone. It just does it. My code is more efficient than I expected it to be, which is really awesome. Beautiful. Hey, Camel Spit. No, definitely not. No problem, Camel Spit. What you got going on? Oh, man. Dude, I'm sorry. Yeah, we'll pray for you guys. Wow. All right. Well, what field is she in? What does she do? Failed background check. Oh, that's the worst. That's just absolutely the worst. I actually have a good friend who's been through much of the same stuff. Um, and now nothing. She quit her old job. Oh, wow. Wow, I'm sorry. Yeah, well, you'll find something, or she'll find something. Man, so I have a buddy who um, got drunk and did something really stupid a long time ago, and even though he's not deserving of it, he ended up on the horrible list, the sex offender list, and that's, if you can imagine, that's pretty damaging to your career and pretty damaging to everything else. And obviously, that's not what she's dealing with, thankfully. But working with my buddy dealing with that stuff, that's been quite a horrible experience. So I feel for you. Yeah. Yeah. Really does. The records just stay with you. I hate that crap. Anyways, yeah, let's pray. You want to share your wife's name? Or would you rather not? Oh, wow, sure. I hear you. Laura, okay. Lord, we just want to pray for Laura and Camel. We pray that Laura can find a job. I know you've got a plan for her life. You got a plan for his life. I pray that you would just reveal to them what they're supposed to be doing at this point. Be with them, give them strength, meet their needs, Lord, in a way that they couldn't expect. Provide Laura with a better job than she would have had at this position, and help them not have to deal with these background check issues any longer, Lord. Find Laura a good employer. Get her all hooked up with a good, stable job that pays better, that is more fun than what she was going to get here. Because we know that you're more than capable of doing this, Lord. So I pray that you would just meet their needs quickly, efficiently, and in a better way than they would have ever expected. Try and boost their spirits through all this. Help them not to be stressed about it. Help them be productive in getting a new job for Laura. But pray that you would just give them a peace so they're not worried about this, so they're not stressed about this. Speak to them, tell them everything's going to be all right, and get them the job that they need for Laura. Help them be financially stable through this process, but ultimately help her get a job quickly so that they don't have to worry about it, Lord. We love you, and we know that you love every single one of us more than we can ever imagine. Thank you, Lord. In Jesus' name, amen. I hear you, Doss. Yeah, you know, it's interesting. I've been the only, frankly, the only reason why I don't have a background is because I gotten lucky. It really, and you know, I've learned my lessons despite the fact that I haven't had to, you know, do any jail time or haven't had to have a record or anything. But if I'm completely honest with you guys, the only reason why I don't is because I'm lucky. So, no judgment from me. I've been so blessed. I've done stupid stuff, like really stupid stuff, and I just never got caught, is where I'm coming from. So, and like I said, I don't do any of that stuff anymore. I've learned my lesson, but it's, I feel for you. I so feel for you. I'm sorry. I hope all you guys can get through any of that stuff. You know, and it's really, it's a tough subject for me because I've seen the correctional system, the U.S. correctional system, literally ruin lives. I have zero faith in going to jail or having a record or anything like that actually doing any good regarding like actually making a difference in somebody's life, because it doesn't. It's just like throwing somebody in the trash. And I say that because I've seen it happen more than once. I really truly believe that we need to be more focused on forgiveness and recovery, and less focused on you're a bad member of society, let's just throw you out into the trash. It's just it's a broken system. It doesn't work. Buddy of mine used to live with me. Actually, shortly after Amber and I got married, we took in a kid who was, I mean, we were only, what, like 24 or 25, something like that. But we took in a kid who was 19, and he was a buddy of mine, just not too deep of a friend, but we took him in, and he had a history of, for some reason, whenever he got drunk, he would do the stupidest stuff. And like one time he was arrested for stealing a golf cart and driving it down the middle of the street drunk. So, and he would get in stupid little fights and all that stuff. So he was not a bad person. He just would get drunk and do stupid stuff. And he had it was weird because he wasn't really an addict, but he was addicted to, like, on the weekends, going out and getting drunk with his buddies and then doing stupid stuff in the process. So he was messed up in that regard, but he would constantly do this. All right. So what would happen is he would ultimately get in some kind of stupid thing, and then he would be clean and good for literally 6 months to a year. And he would be living with us, and we'd be trying to help him out and all this stuff. And then, so 6 months of the year in, here comes a jail sentence that he's got to do from something he did 2 years ago. Okay, so what happens is, you know, he goes and has to do this jail sentence after being clean for 6 months. he goes in and has to do this jail sentence. All right, so he does the jail sentence, and in jail he's sitting there with nothing to do, pissed off at the world. He comes out of jail after however many months he's got to be in jail, and he loses all hope because he was leading a wonderful life, having a great life, but he had to go sit and rot in prison for 2 months and get pissed off at the world. He comes out. Do you think he's all this progress that he made, 6 months ago is worth anything at that point? No, it's gone because he had to sit in jail for 2 months. So this is a cycle that goes over and over and over again. He'll get clean, he'll turn his life around, he'll be doing good, and then he'll have to go to jail 6 months later. Then he'll go screw it up again. It's a vicious cycle, and the correctional system doesn't do anything to help people in that kind of situation. Yes, it's all his fault. Yes, he shouldn't have been doing the things he did. Yes, he's got a problem that needs solved. But it doesn't. It not only did it do him nothing good, it actually made him continue to be in that frame of life, in that awful situation, doing stupid stuff, landing himself in prison. If he would have just been given some forgiveness once in his freaking life, if he was just given some forgiveness, he would have been able to get out of that darn loop and actually be a productive member of society. And I will say that now, thankfully, he is a productive member of society. He finally got out of it, but it took him way too many years to do it. That shouldn't have been happened, because he turned his life around and he was doing great. But every time, what put him back into the old frame of life was having to serve a jail sentence from 2 years ago that he'd already gotten past. It's the most screwed up system in the world. It's absolutely infuriating, disgusting, and it doesn't work. So it's really, man. Anyways, there's my rant for the day. It makes me sad. It makes me just want to cry, because that's not the only situation where that's happening. It's happening constantly. It really is. Anyways, let's catch up on comments here. Rockaholica, welcome. Kind of an odd time to join us. I'm not sure if you've been here the whole time. When was the first... I just lost the comment here. When was the first public version of LaunchBox released? A long time ago. Something like 3 years ago. I don't know exactly the date, but it's been around for a long time. Thankfully, my worst transgression is mass piracy. I hear you. Camel's Fit. I spent 1.5 years in prison, got her all wrapped up in my shenanigans. She has just one conspiracy charge. I'm the one with the multiple class 3 felonies. It's so hard to find work. Been like 5 years. A son. Clean as a whistle now, but it just doesn't matter. No one cares except you guys. It means a lot. Thank you, Camel Spit. I appreciate that. I'm glad, man. I'm so glad you're turned around. That's awesome. And you got nothing but my love. I hope you can get around the system somehow. Yeah, I hear you. Just stupid. Jaggerroll. Launching the program's barebone. Yeah, good bar story. Incarceration rates worldwide. Interesting. It is a very broken system, no kidding. Makes them money. And that's honestly, that's the kind of the problem across the board. It's the problem with the health system. It's the problem with the jail system. It's the problem with the medical system, the food systems. Everything is broken because it's all based on companies making money. Nobody cares about lives. Nobody cares about well-being. Nobody cares about health. They just care about the bottom line more than anything. That's how it works. DOS, I spent 10 months in 05 and had a stipulation added to my sentence. After completing the original sentence, it took me 16 years to get off an illegal parole sentence after someone won a case in the New Jersey State Supreme Court. Oh, man. Holy crap. It crushes your belief system and really opens your eyes. No kidding. No kidding. You know, it's sick. It's sad. But the older I get, the more I realize that all those conspiracy theorists aren't so nuts. The more your mind is opened up, the more you realize how many lies are constantly fed down your throat as a kid, and the more you realize just how screwed up society really is, and how much of what you think is the truth is just the wool being pulled over your eyes. It's really, it's scary. And some of you guys might think I'm nuts, but it's the truth. Texas vlog day 1 just came in. Well, there goes everybody. Bye, guys. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, that was scheduled for 10 o'clock. I appreciate that, Camel Spit. I'm glad at least we can have some, you know, camaraderie. However you say that stupid word. Never mind. I appreciate that, Rockaholica. Thanks for the purchase. Private prisons. Yep. One mistake. Just one mistake will ruin your opportunities for life. United States is the world's leading jailer. Wow, followed by Russia. Holy crap, look at Europe. Look at Europe and Canada versus the United States. That's just absolutely disgusting. That makes me want to just... Wow. Holy crap. Unbelievable. That'll open your eyes real quick. Sheesh. Yeah, freest country in the world. You know, and I appreciate freedoms, the supposed freedoms. I appreciate the freedoms that we have, and I do realize that the United States is a lot better than so many other countries. But we don't get everything right. That's for sure. We do not get everything right. Wow. No kidding. Well, so I'm pretty happy with this, from what I can tell. So we load up a platform that's already been cached. It's nice and quick, and it scrolls quickly. So yeah, the only stuff left to test is like resizing boxes and reducing the image cache size. So if I go to options and we go to our RAM cache and I reduce this to something the minimum, I guess. I want to watch the CPU usage and make sure that it's not too bad here. Obviously, we are going to see a lot more pop-in if we reduce the image cache size. And the reason for that is because it can't keep the entire collection of images in memory. So as we reduce the image cache, you're just going to see more pop-in is how this works, basically. So the pop-in is what the image cache helps eliminate. But this performance isn't bad for having a 300 megabyte image cache. That's not bad at all, really. Yeah, all right. I'm happy with that. Just back up around a gig. And then I want to try resizing the images or changing the image type. The other thing is, it should be, in theory, generating the images and all that stuff as well. So for example, if I scroll down, yeah, it's even. So I'm going to stop scrolling there. I'm going to give it a minute, and hopefully it'll be caching, even generating the cache for the images underneath. That's my hope. It's not, though. Why is that? Yeah, none of these have been. So that's one thing to look at. Ideally, it would, in the background, also be generating images that aren't already there. Not that this is bad. I mean, it's nice and quick, but so there, it basically stops. Until we scroll down more, it's not generating these images, and it would be nice if it was. Is it, though? I'm not sure. No, it's not. So let's figure that out. Rockaholica, how difficult would it be to add a keyboard-specific key commands? In Bitbucket, I have search mapped to Y. It would be nice to have other search keyboard hotkeys like start to execute the search, Y for space, X for backspace, etc. Like keyboard on an Xbox interface. Oh, I see. Sure. So that you could map particular buttons to particular keys in the search box. That's not a bad idea, Rockaholica, actually. If you could put a ticket in for that, I'd appreciate it. Just use issues requests in the header on the website. Because I think that's a good idea to add. You're right, it's not really that high priority, but I think it would be good to add. It's definitely a good idea to do it. Thank you, Pac-Man. Yeah, I'm pretty pleased with it, actually. The development has been better than I expected it to be. Sure. I think this is the best performance that we've seen out of LaunchBox so far. So that's good. Thanks, Rockaholica. I appreciate it. All right. So, the one thing that isn't ideal is that it's not automatically generating the cache if the cache doesn't already exist. So we push to the load stack. And then after we push to the load stack, we basically run through the whole thread again. And it's gonna end up processing this stuff. So we pop something off the load cache. And if the file doesn't exist, we push to the update stack, as we should. So in theory, that should be working, but why isn't it? One thing is that it's only going to do the update stuff if the load stack is empty, but it really should be. Huh. That should be working. I'm not sure why it's not. Let's see what's going on here. Don't steal any golf carts. No, this is a completely separate caching algorithm than Bitbucket. So what is slow for you, Camel Spit? In Bitbucket. So something that hasn't been cached. I'm going to drag Visual Studio over to my other monitor so I can catch the breakpoint and have them both up. If I go to, so it makes sense that it's never doing anything in the update stack because the update stack is empty because we have a cache for all these items. If I go to something that doesn't have a cache for all the items, so say Sega Genesis, oh, this already had the cache too. But fine, if I resize it, there it goes. So now it's on the update stack. It pops an image off. It's running it once for each of these images that it's updating. But then it stops after that. It doesn't go through and it doesn't keep going for anything after that in the list. Why? So let's put a breakpoint up here on top. So the load stack is empty, as it should be. The update stack is empty too, which is weird. You guys can't see what's going on here, unfortunately. Let's so the update stack is empty, sure. So it's, well, why is the update? It's like it's never pushing the update stack. So do we ever get there is the question. Does this ever happen? If I scroll down, okay, so they pop in one by one. but it's never, it seems like it's never pushing. In this case, for whatever reason, this isn't happening like it should be. So that's what we got to figure out. So this is only happening if the file doesn't exist, and I bet and of course the file does exist. That's the problem. But on a resize, the file is going to exist. I get it. Okay, so we load up the image, and if the image is the right size, then we set it. Otherwise, we call update stack.push. So it's not this. It should be hitting that and this is what it should be hitting. It seems to be pushing them a whole lot. That's not just the ones that are on the screen. Huh. Update stack dot I don't have a count or anything. We have a list there. What is it? It's called stack dot count 24. 24 is not enough, actually. So I'm still not sure what's going on here. We're so close, but it should be continuing the processing for generating these images, and it's not. And I don't know why. Let's take a closer look here. The refresh image and refresh text image. So this stuff isn't getting called. So it should be going through this, and then pushes it to the update stack. Sorry, had it on the wrong monitor here. Yeah, that makes sense, Pac-Man. But the problem is it should be doing it for everything in the list. The issue is that when images are, this is only if images are regenerating, the cache is regenerating to disk. In that case, it should be continuing to do everything not visible, and it's only doing what's visible. That's the problem. So that's what I'm trying to fix here. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Yep. And honestly, after I get this fixed, I'm probably going to put out another official release. Because I should probably give it a day or two to test of testing, though. Put out a beta first. So we're pushing to the update stack, and we seem to be... I guess let's... Why did my Xbox just turn on? Whatever. I'm going to put system.diagnostics.debug.writeline game.game or game.title. And then we can watch to see when things are pushed quickly. Because I want to confirm whether or not it's actually getting pushed. It should be. I don't know why not. So I'm going to drag this over here. It's definitely, you see how it's pushing, it's two of everything, one for the text, one for the image, and it's going through, and yeah, it's definitely pushing everything in the list. And then it just finished at the end of the list. That's good. That's exactly how it should be working. So it's getting pushed, but then you know what? So these are all that worked for these. Although there is pop-in on them, they were generated. But if I resize, it stops. So when you first load it up, it's working properly. But for whatever reason, it's not. It's not pushing them when you resize it. It's only doing it as it's requested. It's like it's not... weird. Oh. I totally get it. So basically, what's going on is the image is null, but it's still in the list. Aha. Aha! I get it. So I know exactly what I need to do to fix this. That was tricky. So my contains method in my image cache list. The problem is it exists, but the image is actually null. And well, so we need the key. String key equals this dot get key image group game text. Okay. Return this dot contains key and this key is not equal to null. Rename that method so it's not confusing. And I'm willing to bet that will solve it for us. Sure hope so. You could almost see the light bulb, yeah. Story of my life. All right. Here we go. So we'll drag this over here. It's generating them. If I wait a minute, let it generate some more, scroll down, they're being generated. Look at that. Woohoo! It's exactly how it should be working. And if we give it a second, yep. The only other thing... Uh-oh. All right. We'll take a look at that one. Collection was modified. This is games control base get game GUIs. In image cache update images. Really? To list. So it's happening in the to list. No, wait a minute. To list. It's in get game GUIs. So this is happening before. Where's my game GUIs? Come on. It's down here. It's happening before it hits this to array. It's happening in here. From GUI in this.GUIs where sure crap. So I think what I need to do is maybe copy it first. As read only. Wonder if that would do it. It's happening the to list method here. So I'm not sure. That might do it. I don't know. We'll see. Problem is this is going to be a random error, so we could just throw this in a try catch, but that certainly wouldn't be a good thing to do. Although I'm doing something similar, unfortunately, in here. All right. So there's that. The other thing was that after the images were being generated, they weren't being automatically loaded. And I'm not sure. And then I did see Pac-Man. So if I understand the caching correctly, once you fix that problem, it won't have to display each platform, wait for the caching to complete for that platform before you move to the next platform. Not quite. However, you could select all the platforms, and it would automatically cache them all, I think. I think. But yeah, you would have to select all the platforms. So it doesn't automatically. It only does the current view. One of the complicated things about caching everything, if we had it automatically cache everything in the background, the problem is we've got different image types for each platform now, and so I don't have any way of knowing. I'd have to look it up and add a bunch of code to figure out what image type is in use for each platform. So that's the trick there. So I think for now, I don't think we're going to do that for now. The other thing is, a lot of people really, one of the problems we've had in the past is we'll get somebody on the forums and they'll say, "Why is LaunchBox using 50% CPU for 30 minutes?" And stuff like that. And it's better to avoid that scenario if we can, because people will think we're doing something wrong if we do everything. So people have 10,000 games in their collection. You cache everything. It can take a very long time, and people wonder why the CPU usage is high. Although now, it didn't used to be the case, I don't think, but now it's not going to do any of that while the window isn't active. So that's also worth noting. But the image, as far as the image type and all that stuff, that complicates that whole thing. So I think we're just going to stick to the current view. Yeah. Yeah, and of course the window won't be focused in that case, so we should be good to go there. But the one thing that I still don't like is, and this is not a big deal. I'm going to load this up again. So we go to a platform we haven't loaded stuff up for, or actually just change the image size here. So it's caching all this stuff. And if we let it sit here, it's going to keep generating those images underneath. But we're going to see pop-in when we scroll down. Or did it generate the images underneath? What the heck? It is. It's just going kind of slow. So let's give it a little bit longer. Hey, Beatlemaniac. Retropalooza was great. We made a bunch of connections with YouTubers and everything else, and I talked about that a little bit earlier, so you can catch the stream after it goes on YouTube. But really, really good stuff. It was awesome to meet everybody. Lots and lots and lots of positive responses. We stole the show at our little booth there as far as the convention hall. We were constantly having all kinds of traffic because of the bar top, which is really awesome. So something isn't working right here. Do you see that? What did I mess up? Well, okay, on this one it's regenerating them, but it wasn't doing it on Atari 27 or 7800. Why? What the heck? It's working fine here. Weird. But Atari 7800 didn't work. Maybe it's that it has to, you have to switch in order for that to work. You have to switch the view. I should look at my output, or actually I need to enable debug mode. But yeah, you see how it's not generating these until I scroll down. But if I switch the view and we go to Atari 2600, no, it didn't keep going. What the heck? Bah. Alright, let's open up a debug session here. I thought I fixed that, but I guess not. We're basically, yeah, we're ultimately we're trying to improve the image caching so there's no pop-in is the ultimate goal. Because we did introduce some pop-in with 6.10 and 6.11. And we already fixed that. We're kind of just moving on to try and get more of the stuff fixed. I want it to be as good as possible. So so I need to start a debug session ultimately, and then watch the output again. Of course, so it's loading all these games in the background. Yeah. Generating them all, and it's still going. It's going through all of them right now, like it should. And then I get the pop in because they had to be generated, so we know about that. That's normal. So that's working as expected. However, I think it's doing something different on resize, I think is the issue. So I resized them all, and it stops. Why is it stopping? It only does what's on the screen. That's what's confusing. So it's hitting that. Oh, it's because, yeah, okay. I'm going to have to force it because it's not activated in the debug session. $304. So is it ever hitting these is the question. It's not. It just went through all of them, and it never hit that. Why? Oh, because, duh. Oh, man. Okay, so it exists, but it's the wrong size. So, of course, when you first load it up, it's going to be null, all right? But then after that, it's going to actually exist. But it's going to be the wrong size. Goodness sakes. All right. So I need... But man, we're parsing out the size for all those images? I don't know. Yeah. We'll try it. See what happens. It's still that contains not null method. That's the problem. Problem is I'm not calculating the size into that method. So it assumes it's already fine, but it's really not, is the issue. So this is the method we got to work with here. And we need to add a size. One thing though, if we worked the size into the key, that might be smart, because then I don't got to check the actual... Then I don't got to check the actual image itself, because that's a slow operation. So if we can work the size into the key, that's probably going to be the best way to do this. Like that. Right? And then the key plus text plus dash plus size.width plus dash plus size.height. And then contains not null needs to have the size, which I do have available to me. And then key, feed in the size. We have the size here too. I think that's actually smart. We probably should have done that a long time ago, actually. And then over here, we can do game.size in both of these calls. Not sure if we're going to run into any errors. Doesn't look like it. But I expect that will solve the issue for when we resize the controls. Yeah, actually, the streaming guys, I actually had to enable the stuff for people to be able to view the stream after the fact on Twitch. But yes, that is available now. Thank you, Pac-Man. All right, so we're built. So in theory, things should be almost golden. The only issue is we're going to still see pop in when the cache, after the cache has been generated. This is really complicated stuff, actually. But so we got all this stuff. We're still seeing some pop in there because it was still loading it. But I'm going to resize this a little. It's going to generate, and it should, in theory, keep generating so that if I slow down, yeah, they are generating after a resize. That's good. However, you see how we're seeing pop in. The reason why we're seeing pop in after the cache is generated is that it doesn't automatically update the load stack after it updates the update stack. So that's what's going on there. And that might be a pain to solve. But of course, the thing is, after we, now that Nintendo 64 has been cached, if we reload the app, you won't see any pop-in anymore, in theory. So I'll load it back up. The pop-in right now is only going to show up after, after you, or only going to show up on after the initial cache. So now you see there's no pop-in. It's smooth because we reloaded the app. But if we go to Atari 2600 and it regenerates all these, we're going to see some pop-in as we scroll down. So that's the last thing that we could fix here. The very last potential. Of course, we passed it up, so it's still generating these. But that's the last potential issue that I can see. And how to solve that, I'm not sure. So we push to the, I know it's basically up here. We push to the update stack. And then ideally we would push to the load stack after the update stack finishes. So this is the update stack pop. I guess what we could do is, we'll try this. We'll see what happens. See if it's a performance issue. We would say load stack dot push. We'd have to do it twice. Ultimately item dot game, item dot size, item dot text. No, we only do it once because it's going to do it for each one. The image group, item dot image group, rearrange, false. We'll see what happens there. And hopefully that will avoid the pop-in, but it also might introduce some more, that also might introduce some more lag. It might be a performance issue. We'll see. Because you don't always need to do this, so that's the trick. So we'll go ahead and resize these images here. And I need to let it populate. For a little bit. Let it keep caching those images. And now if I scroll down, we're not seeing any pop-in. That's exactly what it should happen. Look at that. Beautiful. We go to Nintendo 64. It's going to cache all of Nintendo 64, and we can scroll down without pop-in until we reach the end where it's still caching. This looks pretty ideal to me. Excellent. And then we do, for example, Atari 7800. That's the last of it. But if we go back to Atari 2600, there should be no pop-in and no caching. And we go to Nintendo 64, same thing. And if we restart, we shouldn't see any pop-in at all for those platforms. Nintendo 64, right out the gate. No pop-in. 2600. Only just a little bit of popping when you switch. That's normal. That's fine. Nothing wrong with that. 7,800. Boom. Go to NES, which hasn't been cached. It's interesting that it's loading it from the bottom up. But I guess that's not really a problem. I think I know why that's happening. Yeah, but I'm happy with it. There's no easy way to fix that. That's the reason why it did that from the bottom up, is because of that line we just added. But I can deal with that. Bottom up is not really a problem. It's just not as consistent. Well, that makes me happy. More productive than I expected, guys. Praise the Lord for that. Cool. And that had already been cached, apparently. Awesome. Ha. Thank you, guys. I appreciate that. I'm going to be scrolling around for hours this afternoon. Hey, Aphex. Welcome. Basically, we make a front end for managing your games on your PC. So that's what you're looking at. Don't need that. Well, I'm happy with that. So I think we might actually be putting out a release here soon, because that's a big enough improvement that I think it merits it just by itself. Before we dive into anything major, what I'm going to do, I think, is I'm going to focus on any more bugs before, like, try and squash any additional bugs that we've got in Bitbucket, and then we'll probably put out, and so we'll take a few days, few betas, something like that, and we'll put out this official release here before we dive into anything significant for 7.0. And the reason for that is I kind of want to make sure we're as stable as absolutely possible before we start hacking into things again for the major changes that we've got planned for 7.0. No kidding. Wife is on another impromptu interview right now. Well, praise the Lord. That's awesome. Very cool. I know people. I know the Lord. I do. And Martin, trust me, it makes a huge difference. It's not, I can't explain. Like, so much of my success I don't deserve. I'll tell you that. And it's not because of me. It's the Lord. I'm positive about that. And I know a lot of people would argue with me, but I'm not crazy. The Lord's got my back, the Lord's got our back, and He wants to help us. Jaggerroll, are there long-term plans made for LaunchBox Big Box development, or do you usually just jump around fixing and adding different things here and there? There are long-term plans, yes. However, to be completely honest with you, I am a somewhat of a what's the word I'm looking for? On the fly kind of guy. I do plan things long term, yes. In my head, I don't always put them on paper because I don't like being molded into a box. I've been screwed too many times promising things and then having to do them when it really wasn't the best approach. So I don't necessarily share long-term plans, but I do have long-term plans in my head. But I do like to jump around a lot. I don't. In other words, I have long-term plans, but they're flexible, and I tend to try and do the best things right now. You know what I mean? I don't try and let long-term plans get in the way of the smartest thing to do right now, I guess is my point. That's funny. Camel spit. It'll be our little secret. There you go. Or maybe you can share it with her, and maybe she could be a little bit less staunch of an atheist. That would be funny. Impulsive? Not really. Not impulsive. That wasn't the word I was looking for, although that probably does describe me a little bit. Spontaneous is the word I was looking for. I am a spontaneous person, so I work on what I'm passionate about at the time. And, you know, of course, I do have some obedience. If I didn't, I wouldn't get anything boring done that I didn't want to do. But I find that I'm more productive if I work on whatever seems important in my head at the time. It's important for me to focus on that stuff largely because that's what I'm going to be most productive on. So, thanks, Martin. I appreciate that. You know, the thing is, though, there's not a lot gained from having a big head. So, honestly, I make a conscious effort not to give myself too much credit. Jade. Hope your plans for 7.0 include nested filters and platform submenus. They might. I haven't decided that yet. We'll see. An overarching idea or plan, a vision. Yeah, I absolutely do. Although it might not be the type of vision that you're thinking it is. I have a vision of the vision I carry is a vision of I want things to be shockingly gorgeous and easy. Those are my visions. Like I want anybody, any old grandma to be able to sit down and be able to do this stuff. That's my dream. So it's more of a dream than a vision, I guess. But we got a long ways to go before we get there. But that's kind of what I'm going for. More than anything. Custom submenus and manual sorting. Absolutely. Yep, I hear you guys. I hear you. Yeah, we got a lot of people wanting sub filters. So like platform folders and all that stuff. Yeah, UK voice control. Yeah, I hear you. Oh man, that crap. I can't believe that we have not gotten that fixed. I can't figure it out. It doesn't really make any sense. Well, all I can it seems like it's just broken. It seems like the library is broken. And I can't figure out why it's not working. Anyways, theme related. Yeah, I do need to get back to themes. Absolutely. Absolutely. There's always a ton of stuff to do, and it's always good stuff. Thankfully, I can do it all, you know, and thankfully it's my full-time job and I got the time to do it. So anyways, let's see, where we're at. It's 11:46. We got about 45 minutes left in the stream. I think I'm going to actually look at some Bitbucket tickets and see if we can see if we can get some bugs fixed, if there are any bugs. I know there are some. Yeah, let's just go through Bitbucket here. Let's filter on bugs again for now. Game is not loading. Yeah, that's not a bug. Thanks, Carl. Yes, this is better suited for the forums, as it's not a software bug. Issues. Let's so this is a common one, and it's been a pain in the butt to solve. It's something that comes up only every so often in LaunchBox, but I really got to get this one solved. And it comes up every time I pull up, Bitbucket and look at bugs. This one keeps coming up. The problem is the stack trace doesn't give me anything to go off of, and I have no idea where it's happening. But man, I got to get this fixed. It's obviously in the game's control. The painting, but it could be in the game details control painting too. So it's really hard to figure it out where it's happening. I think it's probably in the game details control. But I can't replicate it, without screwing with things for ages. It only happens once in a blue moon. So how am I going to figure this one out? It's an invalid operation exception. It's in render internal. Buffered graphics render. So it's in the window paint method. Let's get HTC. Hey, Moose. Thank you, Retrofile. I appreciate that. That's awesome to hear. Yeah, this bug has been around. Honestly, this bug has been around for many versions, Camel Spit. This invalid operation exception object is currently in use elsewhere. It's been here for literally like 5 versions. And I can't find it because it never happens for me. And so it's one of those terribly awful bugs to fix. Thank you, Moose. I did. We did. It went really well. No, it's not consistent. It's completely random when it happens. And it's a threading issue. And threading issues are the worst kind of issues to solve. Basically, there's an image that is being used somewhere else, and figuring it's a pain. It's horrible. Quick question. Yeah, this isn't. Thanks, Reed. Hit us up on the forums if you can. There are other people in the community who have more experience than me with using PS4 controllers. Never used a PlayStation controller on my PC yet. I've always stuck with the 360 and Xbox One controllers. LaunchBox sound. Background video sound continues to play after launching a game. Really? That's still happening? You gotta be kidding me. Jaggerol, the new, yeah. By the way, I need to. I just got those from what's his forum name? Too many forum names in my head. So basically, I'm eventually I'm going to include those. I think with LaunchBox in an image pack or something. Steam controller, sure. Yeah, PS4 controllers are fully supported. I know they work just fine, but I don't know about the triggers. I don't know what's going on with that. Yeah, I don't like exactly Camel Spit. I don't like the PS4 controllers because my hands are too big. It just feels like my hands are too big for them. I don't like the PlayStation controllers much at all. I like the 360 ones better. Awesome retrophile. Very cool. Honestly, retrophile, one thing you should know is that I'm going to be working with Monster Arcades to hopefully offer them directly, so that and I still have to talk to Keith this afternoon for a lot of that stuff, but I'm hoping to offer them in a complete package already set up and all that stuff. Just FYI. Mock-ups. There it is. Oh, nice. Yeah, I get you. That's awesome. That looks great. I love that. There it is, finally loaded. Yeah, that's beautiful. That'd be very cool. Yeah, man. I love that. Squirrel, yeah, I know that that happens. I get it. I'd appreciate anytime you stumble on that. I would appreciate a link. Um, but yeah, we're DRM free. We're gonna be cracked. However, last I checked, the latest versions had not been cracked. So if they have now, I would like to know about it so I can try and at least make it so the next versions can't be cracked as easy. But it is what it is. Piracy is always going to be a thing. It's better not to spend too much time fighting it. But yeah, if you would send me the link, I'd appreciate it. Wow, that's cool. Very nice, Camel Spin. I didn't know that. Thank you, Squirrel. Nice. Yeah, those mock-ups are great. In theory, this certainly should be possible. There's nothing here that couldn't be done via custom themes. Yeah, thank you, Camel Spit. And the thing is, like, I kind of wanna, I wanna, I don't want to stop people from pirating it, but I would like to make it at least difficult so that if somebody's on the edge, they can just go and buy it, you know? So that's kind of the gist. So we're in a pretty good situation right now because, yes, you can pirate it, but it's only an old version. So, not sure if I've seen this one. The thing is, there's just no getting around the pirates who are just dead set on pirating something, especially if you're a cracker. There's no getting around them really. But we've done really good for ourselves. Oh, you know what? Maybe. So it looks like it's just those two images. We've done really good for ourselves. Just trying to be nice, trying to be DRM free. We are DRM free. Just trying to be nice to the community and hope that everybody sees that and appreciates what we're doing and doesn't try and, crack our stuff. Thank you, Retrophile. Yep. I honestly, I'm blessed. I'm not sure there's anybody else out there that really has the opportunity to work on a front end like this full time. And that's what I've been given. And so because of that opportunity, we just have, and I can thank you guys for that. I wouldn't be able to do this full time if we didn't have such awesome success going. So it's really awesome. Just the fact that I'm able to sit here and develop full time, that's the reason why things are progressing so quickly and they're so updated. That's exactly right, Great White Moose. Adding DRM, yeah, doesn't prevent people from pirating it, exactly. Awesome. Jaggerroll, yeah. Yeah, get started, man, if you can. At some point, I'm going to be wanting to add some themes myself, but that's probably a ways out. So, yeah, if you can jump into theme creation, that would be awesome. I would love to see a theme that looks like this. It looks incredible. Anyways. Yeah, that's the thing. Yep, people are up for the challenge. Absolutely. So this one, has anybody ever seen this happen? Background video sound continues to play after launching a game. Which video playback engine are you using? VLC or Windows Media Player? Also, are you using Rocket Launcher? I've heard of people having some issues like this when they use Rocket Launcher. But, I mean, I don't know. I don't know why. I guess what emulator? I should ask what emulator. Okay. Got that one. I still need to take a look at. Issue with updating art. Trying to set up my ROMs. I was trying to update the artwork first. It kept searching and searching, so I hit the cancel and just uploaded the ROMs instead. Well, now since that is done, I decided to try and update the artwork after going through the instructions using Wizard. Click Finish. What on earth? Decided to try and update the artwork. After going through the instructions using the wizard, I click Finish. The bar that shows searching and downloading shows up for a split second and goes away. Is he What wizard is he using? Update the artwork. Yeah, I need. I think he's using the ROM import wizard when he used to use the update images, metadata, and images wizard. Hi, Lincoln. Please hit us up on the forums. I'm guessing that you're using the ROM import wizard when you just need to use the download metadata and images wizard instead. But hit us up on the forums if you're still having trouble. Resolve. Or invalid, really. Alright, Bitbucket freezes when launched. When I was trying to get my controller to work with Bitbucket, the program suddenly froze. Program suddenly froze trying to choose my controller from the devices option. Now Bitbucket won't even open at all. It just freezes when the logo appears. I've tried deleting my config and restarting it, but nothing is working. This issue happens every time I open Bitbucket. So it's obviously controller related. Hi, Anonymous. He's on Windows 10. What controller are you using? Also, try rerunning the setup, as it's possible that some DirectX libraries might be missing. That will cause a crash if the X input DLL is missing. But it should pop up an error, not a crash, but I don't know. I'm not sure. I've never heard of controllers actually freezing Bitbucket, but it will definitely cause a crash if it's missing the DirectX X input DLL. Moose, I hope that's not me. No, but when you click on a game and the video is playing and then play the game, then exit, and you try to click play video, it doesn't play. EA, is that in LaunchBox or Bitbucket? There you go. It's worth it, Camel Spit. Get some videos. Actually, the videos take up less space than the images, believe it or not, because there's typically a lot more images. You'd be surprised. In Bitbucket. Alright. Oh, Squirrel, here. There you go. I just typed my email. Jade, yeah, that's my personal email too. Either one will get to me. In Bitbucket. When you click on a game and the video is playing and then play the game, then exit, then you try to click play video, doesn't play. That's good to know. I didn't know about that. I'm going to track that. We'll test that in a little bit. There's another object is currently in use elsewhere. Same stupid bug. This is the bug that keeps coming up. Duplicate of 1733. Rate my games via big box. There isn't a way to do it yet. I really got to add that. Why is it a bug and critical? Come on, dude. You know what? It's not worth the trouble. We have another ticket in here for this, and it's anonymous. Wii U. Cool. Translate. Very cool. If you could still paste the game synonymous in the directory folder, disappears to save space. That's tough. Take it easy, Moose. Sorry, I don't know. Hey, unknown. We are a front end. So we manage all the games on your system. I'll give you a quick look at it. So I'm going through bugs right now, so nothing special, but this is LaunchBox. This is what we've been working on today. And then we have Big Box, of course, which is for home theater and arcade cabinets. So very cool. If you could still paste the game synonymous in the directory, disappears to save space. I don't know. What's that say? An idea for the next update. I don't know. Hi, Anonymous. Can you try rephrasing? I'm having trouble figuring out what you mean when I use Google Translate. Random error popping up. Another object is currently in use elsewhere. Yeah. Now this is happening during an import operation, so that might be something to note. That sort of makes sense. Ah. That's good to know. You should dedicate one session a month to the bugs, issues, ideas to the Twitch viewers. Is that an idea? Dedicate one session a month to the bugs, issues, ideas to the Twitch viewers. Can you explain what you mean, Teddy? No, this is not actually an open source project, Unknown, although it is a free it is LaunchBox itself is a free product. I do have to eat soon. Permissions on the person's drive. I'm pretty sure this isn't a permissions issue. This particular error. If this is what you're referring to anyways. I think we'll go ahead and mark this as a duplicate of this one. Thanks, Paradox. This bug has been driving me nuts as I'm really having trouble pinpointing it. It's on my immediate to-do list though. I want to edit this and change the object is currently in use elsewhere. And then we'll mark this one as a duplicate of 1728. Can't unassign controller button mapping in Bitbucket. I see no way to unassign a button to none again. It says to press backspace, but it lies as that does nothing. In case the text message in the field say use back key to clear, this means the controller button assigned to back. No, it's basically what it means is the key assigned to back. So I know that that's a area of confusion. I don't think it's broken though. There are many ideas here, only here in the channel, not on forums or in the bug track. It would be nice if you can handle some of this during a session, and it attracts viewers eventually. Yeah, absolutely. That makes a lot of sense. I agree that that would be cool, and we have done a lot of that in the past. The only thing is, not everything can be done in a 3-hour session. So it would be my only potential hesitation there is just that people are going to be angry because somebody's going to have an idea that I can do real fast, and I could do in 3 hours, and another person's going to have an idea that's going to take 3 days, and I'm going to have to say no. You know what I mean? But we do a lot of that stuff already. A lot of the ideas, honestly, a lot of the ideas that we've done recently have come from Twitch. But you're right, I haven't devoted a lot of time to that recently. So. Oh, I get it. Camel spit. All right, I want to test this Bitbucket thing. Except I loaded it up on the wrong monitor here, of course. If I yeah, I set this something different at the conference. There it is. Options, controller buttons. Okay, back key is that. Yeah, so it works. It definitely works. What it means by back key is whatever is assigned. So if we go to keyboard mappings, wait a second, where is back? Back, right there. Left alt. So whatever is assigned here is what it's asking you to press. Although it is an area of confusion for sure. It's just, anyways. CM Asking Tape, thanks for joining us. Hi Carl, the controller button assigned to back won't work for this because it's looking for a controller button. What should work is whatever key you have assigned to back in your keyboard mappings. Let me know if that isn't working for you. Try the voice recognition. Interesting. No reference exception. Well, this is a stack trace I should definitely look into fixing. Martin, could you say use the back key to clear? Yeah, I could. That would be good. That would be an improvement. Although I'm feeling lazy right now, I'm not sure I'm going to go do that. But yeah, that would at least help. Reduce the confusion. And that ticket is still open. So here's what we should do. Should probably use something like this in order to reduce confusion. All right. Object reference. Sound effect that play, single volume. All right, well, let's take a look at that. Big box, audio, sound effect dot play. Get free item. Why would get free item be null? Huh. None of this stuff has changed, so this is some kind of weird scenario, obviously. Oh, okay. That's another bug. I guess what we can do is, if instance equals null, just return. Although, because that's obviously the issue, but unless it could be that instances is null. He didn't say sound wasn't working, so it's probably just a fluke. So this should be fine. Oh, come on. Fine, we'll... Alright. So that should fix that bug, and then this command is only available when in BigBox. If you switch from LaunchBox to BigBox using voice recognition, you're then unable to switch back to LaunchBox using the voice commands. So what is the... We need LaunchBox. Voice. Command type. There's our list of commands here. Switch to LaunchBox. Requires BigBox. Switch to BigBox requires LaunchBox. So maybe there's something wrong with the logic for commands that require BigBox? It could be that the window wasn't focused or something. I guess let's figure that out. I gotta enable voice recognition, but let's go ahead and test it. Needs to be over here. Options. What just happened? Did I broke it? Looks like maybe I did. It's like there's a window popped up. What the heck? What are you doing, Windows? There's no window popped up. Seriously, what on earth? I have never seen this before. It doesn't even look like a LaunchBox glitch. It looks like... I don't know. I just ended the task. What the heck? Whatever. Voice recognition, enable. I think everything will be okay. And then let's start up BigBox. Of course, it's going to start on the wrong stupid monitor, though. Keep forgetting about that. I'm going to delete this. I don't need that in there anymore. That was an experiment. LaunchBox. Switch to BigBox. Nope. I'm already in LaunchBox or BigBox.
Take the marbles out of your mouth.
Switch to LaunchBox.
This command is only available while in BigBox.
I see. Switch to LaunchBox.
This command is only available while in BigBox.
Yep, it is a bug. So, command requirement.bigbox. Go to definition, find all references. Oh, I know exactly why. Whoops. That's a glitch. I think that's the issue. I changed what that title is. Uh-oh. That actually... Huh. Should change it back is what I should do. So if I go to in big box my view, my main view title, this is what I changed right here. I did that recently in an experiment with something unrelated, and I think I broke that functionality. Whoops. Glad I found that though. Oh yeah, thank you, Martin. I always forget. Alright, we'll make sure this is working now, and then we'll go ahead and be done for the day on the stream. Although, of course, I'm going to keep working after lunch here. Okay. LaunchBox.
Yes.
Switch to LaunchBox.
Switching to LaunchBox.
There it goes. Fixed. Cool. All right. Thank you, Alex. I believe both of these issues should be fixed for the next beta. Let's hit resolve. Wow, Camel Spit, awesome. Well, congrats. Yeah, that's quite a drive, but it sounds like that'll be awesome. Work at home. Sure, absolutely. Yeah, that's hard. Yeah, yep. Well, you know, I am inclined to believe that it's because we prayed. I really am. I'm positive about that. But I'm most of all, I'm just happy for you. That's awesome. All while we were in the stream, she got fired and rehired. That's incredible. Very cool. Absolutely, Camel Spit. I'm glad you're here, man. All right, guys. Well, that's a great way to end the stream with a bit of good news. I'm gonna go grab some lunch and get back to work here on more bugs, and we'll keep working on any kind of bugs we can before we'll put out the 6.12 release hopefully before the end of the week. Just fixing the bugs and the stuff we've added today, improvements. I will have a beta out before the end of the day, and we'll go from there. Thanks everybody. It's been an awesome stream. It's been a good, definitely a good getting back into things stream. So Happy to be back at it after the trip. Take it easy, everybody.